The following recording was created for the Essex Witches Community Heritage Project. The project's core aim was to explore and bring to life the stories of the witches of Essex and their trials and their treatment. The project was supported by the Heritage Lottery Fund, the Essex Records Office, and performed by members of the Black Dog Theatre Creation. Under the agreement with the Heritage Lottery Fund, it is intended that all digital content featured in this project has been made under the guidance of the CC by 4.0 licensing. Thank you for listening.
Terrible story.
Dreadful.
Heartbreaking.
A real tragedy for Sible Hedingham.
I was there when it happened. Mind you, I'm not one to gossip.
It wouldn't be right to speak ill of the dead.
He was a bit of a loner, but everybody knew him.
I heard that he had his tongue cut out by the Chinese whilst fighting for the French.
I heard that he was a spy.
A spy?
Some say he was a convict on the run. Changed his name and everything. He was most peculiar. He wore several hats of different descriptions, all at the same time, and as many as 3 coats, depending on the weather at the time. Stories, but I'm not one to gossip.
He lived on the outskirts. Always had dogs with him, ragged looking. I used to pass him each day on my way to work. Didn't speak.
He was French. Everyone said so. He had that French look about him.
French look?
Wasn't from around here. You could tell.
But he'd lived here for as long as I can remember. Everyone knows of him.
No one knew his name, though.
Couldn't speak it. He was deaf. Couldn't hear a thing.
He communicated by means of sign and big, loud gestures in an excitable and grotesque fashion. It was most alarming to witness at times.
He was harmless.
That's why we called him Dummy.
Wasn't his real name, though?
It was the name that we made up. We had to call him something.
Pleasant fellow. Always gave a polite nod and even a smile from time to time. I used to stop by the old thorn bush, by the wooden gate by the cow field. I'd tilt my cap at him as he passed me by. He would do the same.
He brought me some eggs when he did some work for one of the local farms once. I wasn't sure whether to take them from him, but I thought it best not to refuse.
Children used to throw stones at him and call him names. After he... and he used to pretend to be a monster and scare them away. Oh, he had a nice sense of humour about him.
He was dirty, always needed a bath. You could smell him from a mile off.
Because he worked hard. He was part of this community.
Dreadful what happened.
Terrible.
Tragic.
Curse Emma Smith.
Quite an unpleasant lady. Very emotional, excitable, and highly strung. She was very superstitious.
Superstitious.
Dummy was a fortune teller, wasn't he? She had gone to him once.
Didn't you?
Well, I may have gone, but only to watch. I don't believe in all that silly stuff.
Half the village had gone to him, well, at some point. I thought she was a friend of yours.
Merely an acquaintance.
She was the one that started all of this trouble.
I always knew that there was something not quite right about her. I remember saying to my husband once that I wasn't one to gossip, but she had that devil in her. Well, we all saw it in the end, didn't we? She accused him of bewitching her. He was residing in the tap room at the Swan. She burst in looking for him, and she said that she'd been ill for some 9-10 months, and that her illness was caused by Dummy.
And you were there?
I was, but I wasn't listening in. I'm not one to gossip, as you know, but she was rather loud.
Obviously.
Samuel Stammers was there too. You know him, of course, as he was the local carpenter.
But he'd done some work for me at the farm time to time.
I couldn't help overhearing it all. She begged him to return with her to her home at Ridgewell and remove the curse. So desperate she was that she offered him 3 gold sovereigns. But Dummy was not having none of it.
Afraid of what might happen?
She wouldn't leave him alone. Quite obsessive.
I heard that everyone was trying to get involved, pushing him to go.
I don't normally stay until closing time, but I felt utterly compelled to stay to watch. It was starting to get quite rowdy. At closing time, the action moved to outside the Swan. There must have been at least 8 people there, all encouraging Emma to continue pleading with him. She was becoming quite hysterical, I must say. Hysterical indeed. She completely lost herself.
Yet no one was stepping in to calm her?
Not at first. It wasn't my place to. I was quite fearful of my own well-being. But then she struck him several times with a stick and dragged him towards the brook, where she pushed him in.
The man must have been terrified.
I was horrified too. Dummy tried to get out of the brook by the opposite side, but was prevented by Smith, who had rushed round to cut off his exit. At this point, Stammers joined in, and the pair pushed the unfortunate man once more into the brook. Dummy managed to struggle out of the water and sat exhausted on the bank. He just sat there in a heap, coughing and splattering.
I remember he wasn't much of a swimmer. He'd fetched me once when one of his dogs had gotten entangled in the river. He pleaded with me to rescue it, and it, daft man, isn't it? He almost wept as I pulled the mutt out of the water.
But they didn't stop there. Emma and Stammers once again took hold of the old man and threw him back into the water, where he struggled even more. At first everyone was just laughing and throwing stones at him, watching him splash about in the freezing water, calling him a witch.
Witch!
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 I shouted at everyone. I told them if someone doesn't take the old man out, he will die in a moment. They all stopped and everyone was so...
Motionless.
That's right.
I suppose that's when Stammer decided to play hero and jump into and pull him out.
He was taken home, and that's where he was left. That's what I was told had happened. I didn't want to ask too many questions. I'm not one to gossip.
Next day I'd heard what had happened. I went straight over to his place and with a fresh warm pot of my missus's stew. I found him in a bad way indeed. He was still wet and trembling violently and very, very badly bruised. Black and blue he was. He was in much pain. And he screamed loudly when I tried to take the wet clothes off of him to get him warm. No one had even thought to have checked on him. I took him to the workhouse in Holstead immediately. I thought that he'd be taken care of there, and well, he died in that workhouse on the 4th of September of pneumonia brought upon by the immersion and ill treatment.
The courtroom was filled with people. Never seen it that busy. Emma Smith and Samuel Stammers just stood there in the dock.
Charged with unlawful assault to the old Frenchman commonly called dummy, thereby causing his death.
It was all over the newspapers. Talk of the village and county it was.
Yet people were reluctant to come forward to speak against Smith and Stammer.
I'm not one to.
Yeah, they were both committed to the next assizes court in Chelmsford. On March 8th, 1864, the two accused stood next to each other once more. They pleaded not guilty. Smith told the court that the dummy had come to her house. He had spat at her and told her that after a time she would become ill. And she was ill. She had called a doctor twice in one night, and he could not cure her. Dummy, she told the court, made her ill and bewitched her.
I'm not one to pass judgment, but he had played on the superstitions of the local people. He was consulted by the local girls as a recognized authority on courtship and marriage. And when the police searched his home, they found numerous scraps of paper with various queries written on them. One such query read, "A husband has left her many years, and she wants to know whether he's dead or alive."
Was that good reason to brand him as a witch, set upon him, beat him to death?
Oh my, there's no need to be so. I helped him. I tried.
The judge, Sir William Airy, took these factors into account when he sentenced both defendants to 6 months hard labour. I still look upon my way to work each morning expecting him to pass me by. Some mornings I'd reach the old thorn bush by the gate, and I still tilt my cap as if he were there. I wish I'd known his name.
Terrible story.
Dreadful.
Heartbreaking.
A real tragedy. In loving memory of Dummy, the man without a name from Sible Hedingham.
Under the agreement with the Heritage Lottery Fund, it is intended that all digital content featured in this project has been made under the guidance of the CC by 4.0 licensing. Thank you for listening.